Hello and welcome guys and girls to my podcast called Tales from the Dark. This is inspired by a true story. The story is called The Midnight Hauler. In the small, sleepy town of Ravens Hollow, there was a road that no one dared to travel after midnight. This road, known as Black Hollow Road, was infamous for its eerie silence and the dense fog that seemed to blanket it every night. But the true terror of Black Hollow Road was the legend of the Midnight Hauler. The story begins with a trucker named Jack who was known for his speed and recklessness. Jack had a reputation for pushing his rig to its limits, often driving through the night to make his deliveries. One fateful night, Jack was barreling down the long dark road, determined to beat his record time. The fog was thicker than usual, and visibility was nearly zero. But Jack, in his arrogance, pressed on. As the clock struck midnight, Jack's truck began to shudder violently. The headlights flickered, and the engine roared louder than ever before. Suddenly, out of the fog, a massive, ghostly truck appeared, its headlights blazing like the fires of hell. The truck was unlike any Jack had ever seen, old, rusted, and covered in strange symbols that seemed to glow in the darkness. Panicked, Jack tried to swerve out of the way, but the ghost truck was relentless. It chased him down the winding road, its horn blaring a deafening, otherworldly sound. Jack could feel the cold grip of fear tightening around his heart as he struggled to maintain control of his rig. The ghost truck was closing in, its massive grille inches from Jack's rear bumper. In a desperate attempt to escape, Jack floored the accelerator, but it was no use. The ghost truck rammed into him with a force that sent his rig careening off the road. Jack's truck tumbled down an embankment, crashing into the trees below. As he lay there, trapped and bleeding, he could hear the ghost truck idling above him, its engine growling like a beast ready to pounce. Jack's body was never found, and his truck was left to rust in the woods. But the legend of the Midnight Hauler was born that night. Since then, many have claimed to see the ghost truck on Black Hollow Road, always at midnight. It appears out of the fog, chasing down any vehicle that dares to travel that cursed path. One such encounter happened to a young couple, Sarah and Mark, who were driving home from a late-night party. They had heard the stories but dismissed them as mere folklore. As they drove down Black Hollow Road, the fog began to thicken, and an unsettling silence fell over the car. Suddenly, the temperature dropped, and their breath became visible in the cold air. Out of nowhere, the ghost truck appeared, its headlights piercing through the fog. Sarah screamed as Mark tried to outrun the spectral vehicle, but it was no use. The ghost truck was relentless, ramming their car and forcing them off the road. Their car crashed into a ditch, and they barely escaped with their lives. To this day, they swear they could hear the ghost truck's horn echoing in the distance as they fled. The legend of the Midnight Hauler continues to haunt the residents of Ravens Hollow. Some say it's the spirit of Jack, doomed to drive the road for eternity, seeking revenge on those who dare to challenge his speed. Others believe it's a curse placed on the road itself, a warning to those who would tempt fate. So, if you ever find yourself on Black Hollow Road at midnight, be wary. The fog will thicken, the air will grow cold, and you may just hear the roar of the Midnight Hauler's engine. And if you do, pray that you can escape its wrath, for once it locks onto you, there's no turning back. I hope you all enjoyed the story. Bye for now.